Today I fucked up by catching my boss cheating on his wife. My boss, M, has been a co-owner of our franchise for about 5 years. His wife, E, is our office manager. They have 2 kids, one being barely a year old. It's just 3 other people in the office. Me, and 2 female coworkers, A and R. Thursday afternoon while A was on lunch, I went to ask my boss about something, and I instead found him making out with R in his office. He had his hands wrapped around her waist, grabbing her butt, and her arms were around his neck. They immediately pulled back and tried to play it off. The next day, my husband and I had to stay home because he was exposed to someone with COVID, and we were both ill. I messaged E and told her we needed to talk in person, but she said she's out of town until next week and to call her, so I did. I told E about what happened, and she was in shock. M called my phone a few hours later while I was in the shower, and my husband answered. M asked that I call him back, but I couldn't bring myself to do it because of how bad my nerves and anxiety were after everything that happened. Today, I went to check my work email to see what was on the agenda for Monday. I was locked out. Tried to log into our scheduling website, and I couldn't get in there either. I messaged M, and he said I was no longer employed because of excessive absences, even though termination would be the 3rd offense, and this was the 1st. I work in an at-will, right-to-work state, so now I can't even do anything about it. Too long did not read. Caught my boss cheating on his wife, my manager, with a coworker. Told the wife and now I'm fired for a completely unrelated reason. Can't do anything about it. Edit. I did already contact a lawyer. Minutes after I found out I was terminated. They said there's basically nothing I can do. Edit 2. A lot of people are mad I made their marriage my business. But when an affair is happening 10 feet from my desk in an office I'm in 40 hours a week and I work with all 3 of the people involved? That's my business now. I didn't ask to walk in on them. It just happened. Maybe people shouldn't conduct their affairs where they work. But that's too hard for some of you to wrap your minds around. Not true. You can still file for unemployment, and there may be questions that need to be sorted out, but the unemployment office will hear you side, and likely side with you, awarding you benefits from being wrongfully terminated. Rookie move. Everybody knows that you're supposed to extort your boss. Same rule in Florida, but you can still pursue wrongful termination. My friend just won against a previous employer for firing her because she took too much time off for her grandfather's funeral. The loophole was that it was in their own policy that termination comes after a 3rd write-up and she'd never gotten one. If it's their policy and it is in the handbook, you definitely have a case. If you're in Florida, I can refer you to the law office that took her case and won. Right to work doesn't mean you can be wrongfully terminated. If you talk to a lawyer, I'm sure they can advise you better. I'd call the Department of Labor and report a retaliatory termination. I respect what you did, but if it were me I would go the blackmail route and get a raise. I would say that if you file a wrongful termination suit and in it describe the circumstances leading up to your termination, dude is not going to want that in court. Today I fucked up by realizing I have been praying towards the North Magnetic Pole instead of Mecca. Too long did not read. At bottom. And #X200B. Some time ago, I immigrated to America with my wife and kids. In my home country, it is tradition to mark the direction of Mecca with a sticker so that Muslims, like me, know which direction to face when doing our 5 daily prayers. My landlord has been very kind and has provided me with resources such as prayer mats and information on how to stay halal. He is not Muslim Huff. Thus when I saw a small arrow with a building sign, I took it as the prayer direction. After all, the building must be the Kaaba, in Mecca, and the arrow is just the marker identifying the direction. Right? Well, being a good Muslim that I am, I decided to consult a second source, my teenage son. He is way better with technology, English than I am. Our conversation went something like, simplified a bit. Me. Son, can you find the prayer direction? Son. Give me a moment to finish my homework and I will be right on it. 2 hours later. Son. Look Dad. I have downloaded the Mecca app that always points towards Mecca, laughs mysteriously. Me. Thanks. Well, the app pointed towards the same direction as the symbol on the wall, which totally eased my mind. Well, this was not to last. My landlord had came over to replace our dryer, and when I thanked him for being so thoughtful, he just told me that the sign was pointing towards the exit. He was pretty nice about it, especially given the fact that I had missed something so obvious. I caught him grinning a bit though when he was leaving. and #X200B. And it turns out that my son had been lazy and had just showed me the compass app on his iPhone. It boggles my mind that the exit is also towards the North Pole. How coincidentally convenient. And #X200B. I'm not mad or anything. I don't think my prayers in this time I'll be invalidated or anything. I just hope that my landlord doesn't take me as a total fool. And #X200B. Too long did not read. I have been praying towards to the North Magnetic Pole instead of Mecca because my son pranked me and used a compass and I mistook a symbol placed there by my landlord. Sounds like Santa Claus will be the one answering your prayers. You're all good. You'll be fine. Doesn't Allah make allowances for an "I legit didn't know any better" situation? Don't worry. I'm sure Mecca has arrangements to have their messages forwarded. Roads are often laid out east-west and north-south, and accordingly, so are the buildings alongside them. It's less coincidence and more just a common arrangement to have hallways, and exits, arranged pretty close to the cardinal directions. Your son has adapted well to America. He has already mastered the secret teenage art of trolling his parents. I feel for you, my dude. I am not Muslim but I have placed and corrected similar markers at former places of work. Hopefully you have one on the correct azimuth now. So, have you noticed any difference? Today I fucked up by getting horny. Happened a couple of hours ago. I came inside from doing yard work. Hot showers always make me horny, so after showering I was walking around with a half chub. Going to make supper, I decided to make breakfast burritos. After doing all the food prep and combining all my ingredients, I cooked the eggs. Then first pan-fried the onions, tomatoes, peppers, jalapenos and sweet bell peppers, and meat, bacon. I washed my hands afterwards because obviously that's what you do. I ate and washed the dishes when I was finished. Going to my room, I began to masturbate. I won't get into the details but after a couple minutes I started to burn. My head felt like it was on fire and it was turning red. That's how I realized my soap fucking sucks. Because I ended up with jalapeno and other juice residue on my cock. Too long did not read. Made supper. My hand soap sucks and when I went to masturbate I ended with a swollen cock. Edit. Never did I think my misfortune would blow up like this. Thanks for the award. Glad you all could get a laugh out of it. Jalapenos. I thought you're going to fuck the burrito. Penis pill manufacturers hate this one simple trick. I love that you specified the meat was bacon and not another meat. You didn't fuck up because you were horny. You fucked up because you didn't use gloves to chop hot peppers. After cutting jalapenos you should first wash your hands with soap and cold water so that you don't open your pores before removing the oil from your skin. Afterwards you can use hot water. Today I fucked up by not asking for price before ordering and not knowing steak terms. Okay, so this happened like 2 days ago. I went to this very fancy steakhouse with my family of 9. None of us had been there before so did not know what to order, so my brother takes a look at the menu and finds something called Wagyu steak and says it looks good but says no prices listed, it just says grams or something. So we order like 5 of them and a whole roasted chicken. The food comes and we all eat, it's really tasty and everyone has a nice fun time and enjoys themselves. You might be like, oh, everything went so well, where is the F up? Well, that happened when the bill came. The bill came up to like £450 and we all were absolutely shocked, like really? What was so expensive? And lo and behold, the fricking steaks were like £75 each. Apparently it was imported from Japan or someplace. Well, fortunately I had enough money to pay as was saving money for something else. But we all could not stop stress laughing later that we just spent flipping almost £500 on steaks. Like man, that is a lot money that could have been used for something more useful than food which you will shit out later anyways. Still, we never expected steaks to be that damn expensive. It was our first time eating like proper steak but still holy damn. Too long did not read. Went to a really expensive steakhouse and ordered £450 worth of steaks without knowing price or steak lingo. The paid with money saved for something else. You might be like, oh, everything went so well, where is the F up? No, I knew it. Wagyu steak. There is a basic rule: if you have to ask the price, you can't afford it. If the menu doesn't list the price, it generally means it's extra expensive. Market rate usually means extra expensive. As far as Wagyu goes, that restaurant prices were very reasonable. £450 for a family of 9 at a fancy place? That comes out to £50 per person or about $60. I really don't think that is that bad for a fancy place. Did you at least know the terms for the different ways it can be cooked? Please tell me you didn't order them well done. $75 for Wagyu is really cheap.